Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we're going to start a very detailed tutorial series for the TBM-930. As I try to do with the A320, I'm going to do a little bit more refinement with the modules, if you will, that I'm going to be doing for the TBM. Today we're going to be doing a detailed startup procedure, so we're going to go through prepping the cockpit for startup and then the actual startup procedure itself. And the next one we'll get into flight planning and things like that. We'll either do flight planning or we'll do like customization of the cockpit, customizing your screens, the G3000 and whatnot, and then maybe go into flight planning after that. But we'll see how it all pans out. But I'm going to try to make everything broken down into different modules to make it easier for reference and tracking down what you're looking for, you know, if there's a particular part of the aircraft that you're struggling with. Okay, like I said, the TBM-930 guide is in full development. I'm moving fairly quickly through it. Some of the information is getting a little tough to find. Some of it's easier than others, so it is a process, but it's moving along very nicely. I would expect the first version to be released. I'm giving myself about 10 days, you know, a little bit of leeway there, possibly sooner, before I have the first release out. So stay tuned for that, and let's go ahead and get on with today's episode. Alright, so we're going to start out by doing the pre-flight check. We're just going to prepare the cockpit, make sure it's actually safe and secure for power up and engine start. Okay, now there are some items that are actionable in the simulator, and those are the actions I'm going to stick to. There are going to be a few parts of the checklist that would be done in the real world that we can't actually do in the sim, so to save time I'm going to leave those out. The other thing I'll be doing is I'll be calling out the keyboard shortcut commands that I'm going to be using to get to the different views. Now keep in mind this is on a US keyboard, and so if the key commands may be different based on the country and the style of keyboard you're using, but I'm going to do my best to try to, you know, hopefully provide you guys with information that makes it easier for you to navigate the cameras around. Alright, so we're going to start our checklist first by just getting rid of the yokes. Makes it easier to get around doing the pre-flight checklist. And then now we're going to go to the overhead panel using left control and 5. Alright, so starting up at the top here, we're going to make sure our passenger oxygen switch is set in the standby position. The oxygen master switch here, we're going to make sure is set to on. We're going to make sure exterior lights are all off. Internal lights are all off. Crash bar is down. The crash bar, as you can see, forces the battery and generators into the off position, which is critical. Starter, make sure it's in the off position. Ignition set to auto. Auxiliary boost pumps are off. Fuel selection set to manual. If you're on the default version, I believe this is automatically set to auto. You want to bring it down. Autopilot switch is set to off, and emergency locator transmitter set in the centered position. Alright, so next we're going to go ahead and move on down to the pilot console. So let's go ahead and get down there. And we're just going to simply press Control 5 again to reset the view. And then just move our mouse down to where we need it to be and zoom in a bit. Alright, now the nice thing is you can sort of just move in a flow here. It's pretty easy. And again, anything that's not set as you see it here, make sure you guys set it on yours. So starting at the top down, we want to make sure air conditioning is turned off. Circuit breaker lights are off. Micro mass switch is guarded. Anti-ice switch is all off. Inertial separator switch off. Parking brake, we're going to cycle it and turn it or lock it back on again. And then landing gear lever is down. Dump switch is guarded. Pressure bleed switch is down the off position. Hot airflow, make sure it's down at the floor for startup. So we're going to rotate that around. Now let's go ahead and move into the center console for a second. Coming down to the center console, we want to make sure the manual override is in the down position. Fuel cutoff or throttle is in the cutoff position. Flaps are up and secure. Fuel tank selector either on left or right, but not in cutoff. And then finally, the ram air is this guy right here. We want to make sure it's in the push position. You can see that you can click it and you'll pull it. Make sure it's pushed and closed. Finally, ESS bus tie switch is guarded, and all circuit breakers are pushed in and closed. Alright guys, so now we're ready to go ahead and start our aircraft. So we're going to go through again, mostly realistic process. Some of the things we can't really simulate. Some of the things the simulator doesn't simulate, so I'm going to skip through. For example, like system failures, things like that right now aren't even modeled, so we're just going to go through some of the processes a little bit faster than what we normally would. Alright, but let's go ahead and get this bird started. We're going to use Control 5, come back up top, bring our crash lever up, source to battery, generator to main. Ignition to on, auxiliary boost pumps to on. Make sure the fuel selector is still in the manual position. How did that happen? And then leave everything else set. I'm going to go ahead and turn my nav lights on and pulse lights on. Moving back down to the cockpit for a minute. We're going to do a quick lights test. You can see all your lights are functioning. Lights test in the landing gear. Verify the landing gear is down. Alright, and we are clear to start as soon as we get our MFD up. Checking for any residual inlet temperature. We want to make sure we're below 150 degrees Celsius. Voltage on the battery, we want to be 24. If you're connected to a 24 or roundish, the simulator doesn't actually model it quite right all the time. And then if you're on a ground power unit, you want to be looking at about 28. Alright, at this point we are ready to go ahead and get her started. So we're going to go Control 5, come back up top for a second. Again, quick sweep, make sure everything's where we want it. Starter to on for 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, let her loose. Control 4 to get down to the throttle quadrant area is the easiest way to do it. Looking for 13% on the NG rotation. 13, slowly advance the throttle into the low idle. Looking for 52% and no more than 870 degrees Celsius on the inlet temperature. There's 52%, below 870, moving into high idle. And moving on over into flight idle. Again, you want to advance that throttle slowly and it'll come over the gate. Go ahead and turn on your pitot heaters. We can come back up top. Ignition into auto, auxiliary boost pumps into auto, fuel selection to auto, autopilot trims are on. Back to the forward panel. Air conditioning as required. Air pressurization set to either max diff or auto. Inertial separator on either now or before takeoff. It is up to you, or taxi I should say, not takeoff, before taxi. I go ahead and turn it on now. You will get a caution message pop up. Just clear the master caution when that takes place. Okay, so a question that still comes up quite a bit is how do I install the mods? Where do I find the mods? So for the TBM-930, there are 3 mods I'm going to show you guys. 2 of them important, 1 of them customization. So the 2 that are important you're going to find here under the working title releases. Okay, and this link will be the first link in the description down below. It's going to bring you to this page and you're going to see the CJ4. So if you guys are interested in that, by all means grab it. You'll download this guy right here if you want the CJ4. But what we're going to look for first is the G3000. And you just keep scrolling down until you find the latest. So here it is, G3000 4.0. And so you can see all the changes and everything that's been made to it, known issues, things like that. So they do a really good job of notating. So scroll back to the top. You're going to click the top link. Tells you how to install it. But we're going to scroll down here. We're going to grab this zip right here, just the top one. Don't worry about the source code. That's for programmers. Okay, you can see that's complete. And now we're not quite done just yet. Next we're going to find this one here. It's Mix Mug's TBM-930 project. He's the one who picked up the old TBM-930 project, which is awesome. And again, we're going to scroll down. Oh, wait, maybe not. He might have changed the link. Thought we had a download zip here. Maybe not. All right, in that case, we're just going to come up here to the top and download zip. So code, download zip. And the last one, let me see if I have it in that folder. Yep, this is my black and white interior. So if you guys are interested in that, just click this link. Oof, bright light. Oh, this is the last one. I haven't actually tried this one yet. There's another one I wanted. So what you can do is from FlightSim.2, just go to the search menu, type cockpit livery. And there's a couple of them in here. I thought, give me a second. Maybe not. Guess that's the only one. So unfortunately, I don't remember where I got the beige one. It might have been from Nexus Mods. Either way, so we'll try this one. I've been wanting to try it anyway, so we'll grab it. This is the black and white, right? Oh no, this is the carbon fiber. Well, what the heck? Let's grab the carbon fiber. Let's check it out. That way you guys can see the process. We're going to grab the main file. Let it complete for a few seconds. And again, all three of these links will be down in the description below. Alright, so we got all those. So now I'm going to just move this off to the side for now. Grab another Windows Explorer here. And here are our downloads. And you can open them up, and as long as there's another folder in here, just right click. You can either use extract all, or if you're like me, you can, and you have 7-zip, just go extract here. And these guys are all pretty good about making sure there's a folder there. So again, same thing. 7-zip, extract here. And find working title, they're always on it. So 7-zip, extract here. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is just, with the zips, I don't need the zips anymore. So I'm going to delete these guys. And again, if we open that folder up, we can see the package information. This is the actual mod. Think of this as the title. This is the mod. So we're just going to verify all three of those folders are the same. So like this one, this is actually what we want. If you open it up, there's the mod. So that's important. And then check for these readmes. If you open up a readme, and what you can do, if that comes up, right click. Notepad++, I highly recommend it if you guys don't have it. It's free. It's an awesome notepad tool. But it comes up, and this looks crazy at first, but just slow down for a second, and you guys can read it in the real world. And the other thing you can do with these, to show you guys something, with these readmes that say readme.md, and the reason why they put the .md on them is a lot of transfer sites don't let you do text files. It has to do with security. But now we can actually just open it, and it'll open in a notepad. Okay, so again, walks you through everything. So just something, a little extra piece of information. But so this is where we have to pay attention. So again, here's the mod, whereas this one, this is the mod. The second folder in was it, all right? So I'm going to open up one more Explorer, and you guys can open multiple Explorers by just holding Shift and left-click the yellow folder and open a new one. Now, I use a mod manager, but if you don't use a mod manager, you just put it into your packages folder. So it's totally up to you. But the first thing that I need to do is disable the old one. So I'm going to find my TBM-930-1. That's the mod that I'm using now. And then the working title, G3000. And I think I had a cockpit livery. Yep, that one right there. I'm going to pull that one out too. All right. Now the cockpit livery, we always want to make sure it has a Z in front of it because you want it to load at the very end. They don't really tell you, it's one of those experience things that you figure out. But the mods that you'll load will load first, and then any cockpit liveries will load after that. Okay, exterior liveries we don't care about because they don't affect the internal portion of the cockpit. So I'm going to move this over now. Sorry guys, I just had dinner and I had some spicy food, so it gave me the sniffles. So I'm going to go to my mods folder now. And so first thing I'll do is my TBM-930-1. And you could either, for example, I could either drag this just in here, okay? And for example, if I refresh this list, you'll see there it is right there. But that's not how I like to keep everything named well. So what I'm going to do is open up this one. I'm going to delete all the contents. It's actually oh, didn't think I deleted it. Okay, cool. That was easy. So I'm going to take this guy and put it back out. It's just copying it. So I'm just going to delete that guy then. Go back into my TBM-930-1. I'm going to open this guy up. Copy the contents over. There we go. So that one's done. There's the TBM-930. That's the actual performance mod. So I'm going to get rid of it. Same thing with the G3000. I'm going to come in here, delete, drag them over. Done with that one. And then my cockpit livery. Okay. And so this one, if we open it up, this is the actual mod. Now what's cool is he actually included the originals there, but we're just going to rename this. And I'm going to put Z TBM-930 carbon mod. And just that way, again, so that way it loads at the bottom of the page. Go down there with the other cockpit liveries, and we're done there. So close this. And then if you're using the add-ons link here, which I suggest, and I'll put a link for it in the description as well, simply, we're going to go TBM-931, that's the performance mod. The G3000, we obviously want that. And there's the carbon fiber cockpit. Alright, and done. All of your mods should be good to go. Okay, if you're having an issue with your mods not showing up, and you know that they're in the community packages folder, or packages community folder, I should say, and you're positive they're in the right folder, check the folder structure. Open one of those folders up and make sure there isn't another folder inside of it titling as the mod, right? But that's pretty much it, all there is to it, guys. So we'll continue on with the video. And other than that, folks, you have a successfully started TBM-930 that is now ready for flight programming, customization of your screens, and set yourself up for your flight. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little tutorial on how to start the TBM-930. Stand by for the next one where we go through some screen customization as well as flight plan entry. I will see you guys soon. Take care, folks.